By testing and onboarding this model, I might be the first person outside of Google that actually get to test this model. And my wife might be the second person who saw the generation. It really feels great because I was an ex-Googler. I worked at Google for 6 years before joining Arena. So it's great to see my old company doing like these great things, generating these great models. Yeah. I was testing this model on my couch, and it's just really good. It feels very different. Like yellow Shiba Inu, there is a way that they're supposed to look like, but like all the other like traditional stable diffusion models, they kind of put a glaring, like not natural yellow color to it when I try to ask them to make it yellow. But Nano Banana is totally different. It feels like they know the concept of like what a normal yellow Shiba Inu looks like. The code name thing, as we grow as like an evaluation community, is more like the model labs are more used to it now. But back then, it was not like such a familiar concept. So like we asked Google about like code name because all the private models on the Arena are anonymous, and that's very important part of us being like neutral and fair when it comes to these evaluations. And it did took them some time to like try to think about, okay, what's the code name to use here? And they say, okay, Nano Banana.
What is Nano Banana?
A lot of the traditional image generation models are using like stable diffusion, which people describe as like a sculptor. They try to like make a statue or whatever, and they start with a rock, and then they chop things off. So stable diffusion is kind of like they have an image full of noise, and they kind of denoise. So that's the process. So the benefit of that is that it's really fast. It can like process like different parts in parallel, but it's not really understanding your it's kind of like have a text encoder, which is like the prompt understanding part, bolted together with the image generation part. So it's not supernatural how these two parts are fit together in today's standards. Obviously, like in the past, it was the state of art. But Nano Banana comes in, and it was built with the concept of like Google wants things to be like multimodality. Like they want the model to be able to not only generate text and image, but also maybe generate like interleaved, like some text, some image. So they want the model to be able to generate everything in the same format. So they kind of use this autoregressive architecture where they treat pixels as like normal text output. So the benefit of this is that it's one model. It's the same model that takes the prompt and understand it and generates the image. So that really empowers the model to like on things like instruction following. It does really well there, and also it's doing a lot better on a lot of things that stable diffusion like struggles, which is like instruction following I mentioned, and also like reference keeping, like throughout multiple generations. If you give Nano Banana like for example a face image of my face in the first turn, it does a really good job keeping that face throughout. So I think that's also something that is like Nano Banana really benefited from the architecture. Yeah. Now we know a lot more about like the structure of the behind the scenes of the model. So things like it's not using a stable diffusion, it's using something beyond that. But back then, what strikes me is like it's really good at instruction following, and it feels like it knows things other than like a normal image generation model where they just generate beautiful images.
What was the actual model that Nano Banana was?
So it's Gemini 2.5 flash image. Yeah. It's a model that is using, I think, obviously Google never really disclose it, but like folks think it's like based on using one of the Gemini 2.5 flash as the brain part of the image generation model. Yeah.
Is this the biggest model you've put on Arena?
Oh, by far, easily, because I think up until today we have more than 10 million votes just for this single model on just image edit Arena. So that just shows like how many interactions that we get from our community with this model. So yeah, easily the biggest model that I've added. Yeah.
How long was Nano Banana on the leaderboards before Google launched their official model?
Oh, you mean like being privately tested with us? I'd say about a month probably, which is like a really long time. Yeah.
Why do you think they waited so long?
I guess that's a question for Google folks. But my guess is that it's just great marketing material. Like they want to have it out there and have people find it. Like they'll just keep, like the entire world will just keep building hypes and noise around this model before it actually releases. So it's great for Google. And yes, I think it's also an important reason why a lot of the companies choose to work with us is that we have this very vibrant and energetic community. They keep they don't just use models; they actually test them and throw like really hard questions at them to test the boundary of the capabilities when it comes to this model. So we're really thankful to our community for this kind of important launch, and it definitely helps us organically attract more users to testing these frontier models, and that's, I think, what also Google wants ultimately. Yeah. Fast forward to November 2025, that's when Nano Banana Pro comes out. So I think that is a model that uses like Gemini 3 Pro, if I recall correctly, or another Pro model as the brain. So it's an upgrade when it comes to like its sort of like brain part of the image generation, which is like prompt understanding, like orchestrating the image generation and all of that. And also it achieves a lot better like token decoding efficiency. With the same amount of token decoded, for Nano Banana you can only generate a 1K image, versus for Nano Banana Pro you can generate 2K image. So I think like a slogan that I heard at the time is like generate pro image with like flash price or efficiency or something. So it's kind of like a big step there. And when it comes to latest, it's fast forward to this year, February, we have Nano Banana 2, which is another like great improvement on already outstanding series of model. Something worth highlight there is that first there's a really high emphasis on thinking capability of the model. So basically the past Nano Banana models are like artists like draw quick sketch, while like this Nano Banana is kind of like an art director that really think thoroughly things, and like they will sketch something, like correct it, or like just discard the thing and regenerate. So basically the way that it works is that like the model will literally maybe sketch out like an initial image, and then like the brain or the reviewing part will come in and try to review the generation and then like give feedbacks. It's kind of like how thinking models works for text. It's like it has a thinking process of like trying to make sure it covers all the like different aspects before showing the actual responses to the user. So kind of like thinking in text, this is like thinking in image, which is something that is really highlighted. And another thing that is really impressive is that it's currently connected to the real-time world knowledge base of Google. So if you go to our leaderboard, you will see that for the Nano Banana Pro 2, we have the Nano Banana Pro 2 web search. So what that means is that it has been connected to Google's real-time world image. So if you ask for something of like draw image of the weather in SF today, like technically it would be able to draw like a really nice weather of SF. So in the past it was like Google's strategic move of like making things multi-modality by nature, and this is also like integrating all these tools and like knowledge to across modality. That's what some like impressive progress of Nano Banana 2. Today, we are a lot different than like when Nano Banana initially added. Like we have more leaderboards, we have like multi-image covering like more aspects of the image generation. We have more players.
Are there a few companies that dominate repeatedly, or are you seeing people leap and get ahead on the leaderboard?
It's definitely a more competitive field when it comes to like when Nano Banana initially came out. I think when it initially came out, it was like more than 100 points higher than the second model behind it. But now the gaps are definitely smaller. We are seeing like really good text to image edit models from OpenAI, like the GPT image series and like ChatGPT image latest. Those are all very good image models. We are also seeing like seed models like Seedream 4.5 and also recently Seedream 5 Lite. Those are also like very competitive models, and I think Seedream 5 Lite is also integrating some of the web search capabilities, which definitely shows the trend that like more tools were going to be added to these models. So it's a much more competitive field, and we are also evaluating it more granular and also very more comprehensive aspects. Yeah.
So that's Nano Banana 2. What's next?
Yeah, that would be a great question. I would love to know as well. But I think a couple of things that Google have been doing is like, first, obviously increase efficiency. Like we have moved a long way since Nano Banana, the original Nano Banana, when it comes to like decoding efficiency, like pricing and like things like that. So that's definitely like making it more efficient is something that Google pays a lot of attention to. And I think we're gradually seeing a lot of improvement on a lot of the economically valuable tasks. So like in the past, people use AI generation for fun, for even for sometimes to generate broken images because it's kind of fun, like that, okay, I made this mistake, it's funny. But now more and more people are starting to use it for their job, like day-to-day job. They're like, we're talking about logo designing, ads, like interior design. So there will be a lot of improvement when it comes to like these economically valuable use cases. And a lot of it boils down to a lot of things that we look at a lot initially, such as like reference keeping. How good can the model keep my face unchanged throughout multiple generations, things like that. Yeah, so those are some things that we definitely will see a lot more improvement. And some other thing is like multi-image. Models are moving a long way when it comes to like supporting feeding in multiple images, and we're seeing that progress in Nano Banana Pro and 2, and I think that's also definitely something that is going to keep moving forward for next generation models. And something else would be, if I were to guess, it's already doing very well. It's like generating text and image interleaved. It's like help me generate a storybook where it starts with some text, then image, and then text, and then image. I think that's definitely something that the direction that we see a lot of frontier models are moving.